you guys, we didn't really know what the problem was. So I wanted to go through that with you. So basically what I found out here is when I did take this off, there wasn't any metal on it, right? So what I found out is I see like 1 or 2 tiny little flakes in the bowl down there for where that sensor is. So what that tells me is this pump didn't catastrophically fail. It's just starting to fail. And when I was doing the compression test, cylinder number 7 had a lot of fuel in the cylinder. So I think just a small particle went through the fuel system and stuck that injector open. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to see if I can get by as cheap as possible since all the other injectors are probably good still, and just replace that injector 7, the CP4 pump, and all the lines, and then clean the tank and clean everything else really good. And if I have another injector stuck open, I'll just replace that one too, because you know these motors are supposed to go 500,000 miles and this only has 180,000 miles on it. So I think the injectors that are in there are good. If the pump did catastrophically fail, I would have obviously replaced the whole fuel system, but I think it just started coming apart and stuck that one injector open, so it wouldn't start because it can't build enough pressure if all the pressure is just bleeding off right through that one open injector. With that being said, I'm gonna take you along the ride on, I think what we're gonna do first is take the EGR off, and then that'll open this up in here a lot. And then eventually, probably tomorrow after work, I'm gonna drain the tank and then put the tank back in and get all these lines flushed. Both of these lines go back to the tank. I'm gonna get both of those flushed. And all of our parts started rolling in here. I took my time on ordering parts. That's why there's such a big gap in these videos, because I wanted to save as much money as I possibly could, which went very well for me. I'm guessing I saved over $2,000 on really thinking about what was going on with what happened in this engine and trying to roll the dice on just replacing that one injector. Everybody, or I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this one bolt, or these 2 bolts on the EGR down here. I got this one out, but somebody was, I'm guessing, was going to try to delete the EGR at one point and rounded the top of this bolt head off. So in order to get this pipe off now, I need to drill that out. So hopefully once I drill the head of it off, it won't be tight in there. I'll be able to just put a vice grip on it and get it out. But yeah, I'll show you the parts, some of the parts that I got here. Here's the CP4. I got brand new glow plugs. I got the injector fuel return plastic lines that snap onto the injectors. These are the injector lines. I got all 8 of those brand new. That way I'm not going to replace the fuel rails. I'm going to just take them off and clean them really good, and then the lines that go from the injector to the fuel rail, those will all be new. This is the coolant line for the turbo and the fitting, because I'm going to replace those. Those are common fail points. And then this is the oil line for the turbo as well, or vice versa. This here is a new fuel cooler. I'm going to replace that as well. Don't want to take any chances on any metal that was in anything else. This right here is a vacuum pump gasket that those always go out, but I'm pretty sure you have to remove the vacuum pump to get the CP4 out. This here is the EGR delete kit. And then this is my disaster prevention kit. So if this CP4 ever goes out again, which I doubt it will, all you would have to do after that is replace the pump itself. It won't take all the injectors and lines and stuff out because it routes the fuel different. So that's where we're at with that. I'm still waiting on a few things. Like that injector, the company I bought that from, I'm thinking I'm going to try to return it and go through this Injectors Direct company. I would like to do that because it still hasn't sent, and it's been about 4 days. I bought all these parts at the same time, and that hasn't even shipped yet. So it's like I'd rather just go through a different company if they're not gonna you know, send my stuff out right away. So yeah, all right, we'll get started on this here and see how it goes. I'm a little worried about that bolt, but hopefully I can get it out. Alright, so got the EGR off. Wasn't too bad. I got this upper coolant line off, so I just kind of opened everything up. Like, look at all these lines. You can get right at them on the passenger side. Number 7 is over here, so a little harder to get at, but we'll be able to get it. If you can see down here, that's all the oil and coolant mix sitting in the valley there. That's a common leak with these lines on the turbo, so that's what I'm going to end up replacing all those lines to seal the whole turbo back up. So I'll go through that with you guys when we get to that point later this week, probably, hopefully. Everything's taking a little longer than I thought, but so yeah, at some point we got to get this fan off too. I don't have the proper tools, but I think we'll be able to get it off. I used to have a 6.0 and I was able to get that one off pretty easy. So yeah, I think next step is we're gonna work on getting this tank drained today for the rest of the day, and then however far we get on that, I don't know. I want to eventually drop the tank out and take it apart, take the sump and everything off the top of it, so I can reach down in there with rags and clean it really good. So I'm guessing today I'll be able to get it at least drained and maybe dropped, and then see what I need, if I need anything special to get that top ring off. You guys will be able to see what I'm talking about when I get to that point. But yeah, we're gonna start messing around with that. So I got that line off underneath, and I was gonna start, I took the return line off, so it filters all the fuel just for this return line anyways. And I got this hose in this bucket, and I went to turn the key on, and I forgot I had the fuel volume control valve out. So it just doused fuel everywhere in it just leaked out of that sensor location. I'll show you guys. I was grabbing the flashlight. It just leaked out of the sensor location and just filled the valley with diesel fuel, and then, you know, made a huge mess on the floor that I just got done cleaning up. So I put that sensor back in, and we'll see if we get diesel fuel now actually coming out of the return line, which would be nice. Not all over my floor in my attached garage. Not ideal. So let's see here. Make sure it's not leaking out in here again. Hear all the air going out. Hopefully it's going under this bucket now. Oh yeah, and it looks like whoever owned it had some off-road in her. So that must have been some tax karma. that they, I mean, I'm guessing it was probably just a farm truck anyways, so they probably weren't even breaking any laws, who knows. So that's filling up now. Luckily, I feel like this truck's been sitting a really long time, so the diesel feels really old, because it doesn't stink that bad, luckily, and I was able to get it cleaned up pretty quick. So honestly, it doesn't even smell like diesel fuel in here. So I guess we'll see how long this takes. Well, there she is, boys. I got her out. It wasn't easy. Somebody had rounded the head of this bolt off. It's funny because this is the EGR exhaust. So I guess these bolts break off all the time. And I'm guessing when the previous guy did his half-assed delete, he put like 3-inch pipe, he welded 3-inch pipe in the spot of the DPF. I'm guessing he tried to delete the EGR and rounded off this head so what I did was it was this bolt, so I took this bolt out and then I turned this pipe so it broke this bolt loose. Then I drilled into it and I used an easy out and it cracked it loose. And then I was able to just use a pliers. This is kind of a bad spot down in there with that pipe. I was able to just use like a lineman's pliers and turn it the rest of the way out. So that's done. I got, while I was doing that, I was draining the fuel out. I got all the fuel drained out, so I'm gonna probably drop the tank now quick and probably come back to everything else tomorrow.